So with Alpha Wave 1 coming to a close, I thought now would be a good time to reflect on some of the things we have learnt by doing a top 5 series. And so that is what we're going to get into today. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hello everyone, Ragewood here, back with another Godforge video, and yes, I do own more than one shirt, but we are banging these out in preparation of the closure of the server. Now it goes without saying that a lot of this could change. This is the first alpha. Some things might be deemed too strong, some might be deemed too weak. So my thoughts may change between alpha waves, and if that is the case, I will make new videos. So this is specifically for the Alpha Wave 1. So what are we getting into today? So today I wanted to do a top 5 rares that I feel have been the best performing or helped me the best in this Alpha Wave 1. Now they're not going to necessarily be in any particular order, but the one at the top is number 1. So we'll start with the other 4 before we get to her. Okay, and the first ones are going to be your starter heroes, so the likes of Ramses, Lady Shock, and less so Guan Yu, but Guan Yu does still obviously come under that umbrella. These 3 characters are worth investing in. I was very fortunate to pull Ramses on floor number 2, so I was playing with the pair of those for a long time, and they saw me through an awful lot of content. I still think Guan Yu is a bit of a drop-off, and I will do like a reflection video on that, on whether I still think Lady Shock is the best starter. They are, say, worth investing in no matter which one you picked. If you take them to 6-star as well, like I have done here, they will carry you into the latest content in the tower. Number 5 is going to be the starter heroes. Our 4th rare that I do think is worth investing in is Shishi. He is the best boyo, the best green doggo in the game. I mean, just visually he looks really cool, right? Just reminds me of some like old films I used to watch, like The Mummy, for example, when it was all about that sort of Chinese king. Yeah, looking sweet. But why do I like him so much? Particularly I like him in the Fafnir fights. There is a sort of lack of out-and-out support early on, and healers specifically, and he sort of helps fill that role even though he is a defender. Now granted, to get the most out of him you do need him Ascended 3 and Awakened 3 to get this improved passive. When an enemy attempts to place a debuff on him or an ally, there is a 60% chance to heal them, and if this hero receives a debuff, he places a barrier equals 50% of his defense. Now in that Fafnir fight, there are a lot of debuffs being thrown out at you in the form of blazes, acids, and vulnerabilities, and that is where he shines, say, acting as a support unit. I'll throw up a quick clip here just so that you can see like a lot of heals going off, little ticks which help take you like just through the fight. And that is where he is brilliant. He also has an attack down 1 on his basic, as well as an ally protect and a shield for the team. Now this ally protect is going to tie into the next rare that we're going to look at. But yeah, he is a really good rare unit, particularly, say, for the Fafnir fights. Now, whether I should be putting so much focus on that one particular area of the game, that is up to you to decide. But I do believe it's one of the harder pieces of content, and this guy can help you get through it very easily. coming in at sort of number 3 in my list is Isolde. Now, everyone does get Isolde very early on. It's within the first 10 floors. I want to say maybe like 5 that we get her. She's the first support unit that we are going to get. Now, what is it she does? She places Mend on her basic attack for 2 turns. Now, that 2 turn is linked to an awakening. It is normally 1 turn, but it is still an okay support ability. Now, I don't think it is the best. Sometimes you just want someone to place like an outright heal rather than waiting to come back around to your turn, but healers and support units are limited in this alpha experience. Her skill 2 places defense up and increases turn meter. She will gain the attack up at awakened 5, so if you can get her to awakened 5, that's great, because she will also enable your damage dealers as well as help you survive with that increased defense. And then her ultimate removes 1 random debuff and then increases the turn meter and increases that further for each debuff removed. So again, in the Fafnir fight, once he places the blaze on you with his core, you can use this, remove that blaze, boost your turn meter by a huge whack, and it just will help stabilize that fight because Fafnir's basic sort of detonates those blazes. If you don't have them, you make your life a lot easier. Now, there is a little bit of play with Tristane if he's on the other team, places Charm, but that's very rare gonna come up. But what we're looking at here is her passive. When an ally defender is attacked, heals all allies by 5% of this hero's max HP. So you're gonna stack her with a lot of HP. She's not a damage dealer, but what makes her work so well with the likes of Shishi is it says whenever a defender takes damage, Shishi places a protect on everyone, which is like an ally protection. So with Isolde's passive, if there is an AoE ability, it's sort of like a group-wide heal, which works very well, as I say, particularly due to the lack of early-game out-and-out healers. She is an incredible unit and definitely worth building and investing into her somewhat as you climb. I have cleared floor 90 with an all-rare team, and I know the Adventures of Adam has recently managed to do all 150 floors, mainly focusing on an all-rare team, as well utilising power up with Tristane and Shishi. So Isolde is going to be number 3. Number 2 on this list is going to be Icarus. Now, give a shout out to Mr. Sneaky for looking into this first, I believe, or at least he's the first person that I saw investing heavily in Icarus. Icarus is a damage dealer. We do obviously get damage dealers from our starter heroes, but I think Icarus sort of takes the bacon as one of the hardest hitting rare, if not possibly the hardest hitting rare, and it comes down to his core ability. Now, he places Sharpen on himself for 2 turns. That's not what we care about, but it is very nice. What we're looking at is the second part of this. This hero's attack increases by 20% when defeating an enemy, stacking 3 times. So the way you get this to work is you want Icarus to go sort of last. So maybe you have like your starter go first and then Icarus finish up with his core, gaining 60% attack. That is not nothing, guys. In the right gear setup, that can be absolutely huge. And that is where his power comes from, getting that increased attack. He does also place Blaze. It's sort of, the rest of his kit is sort of based around Blaze, hitting 5 times at random, 20% chance to extend Blaze. Also places it on this hero for 1 turn. Now, why do you care about placing Blaze on yourself? Well, if this hero is not under Blaze, it increases his divinity by 5% and decreases his speed. I believe this should say if this hero is under Blaze, increases speed and decreases divinity. So you're sort of flip-flopping between the two, increasing your initiative and your speed. But it is mainly that core ability which allows him to smack, and why he is number 2 on this list. If you want a bit of proof on why and he's so good and how hard he hits, go check out some of Mr. Sneaky's videos and live streams. So finally, number 1, the best rare that I think in the Godforge Cavern experience is Skadi. She is a disruptor, she is eternal, so she's not weak to anyone, and I sort of go over it in a lot of detail in a video which I'll pin up in one of those corners somewhere. But she carried me a lot through the later floors, not from a damage perspective, from just controlling the waves. They are very difficult, some of them, and just having that control is really good. She hits twice on her basic, each with a 25% chance to place 3, so it isn't the most consistent, but if you have some follow-up attacks, can sort of make that rather consistent. I was utilizing her with Aphrodite very, very well, getting 2 opportunities, or 4 opportunities, I guess, 2 hits, 2 frees, 2 problematic units, which would allow me to focus on the other 2 quite heavily. Her core has a 50% chance to place the 3s, hitting 3 times at random, and she places speed down on her ultimate. And she also steals divinity and gains divinity herself when targeting someone under a freeze. Overall, it's just a very well-rounded kit, well thought out, and as I say, she will make your life a lot easier as you are climbing up. So do not sleep on her, do invest in her if you have her. And that is it for today. There are a lot of rares in the game. I had a play with most of them, some more than others. For example, I haven't really played with Unkhesseneman too much, nor Asag or the Minotaur. So if you've got any thoughts, if you think there's someone that I am missing out here and deserves to be in this list, let me know in the comments down below. But we are going to leave it there. So thank you very much for watching. Take care and look after yourselves. Work hard. But as always, play harder. And I will see you in another one soon. Cheers.